everybody, welcome back to Row Country. Welcome if you're new. Today we're doing a Dollar Tree window cling decal Christmas decor. Look how cute these little vintage inspired pieces turned out. The 25 Days of Christmas continues right now in Row Country, so stay tuned. Okay, everybody, so in addition to what I showed in the beginning, you are going to need some craft sticks and then also some hot glue. That's just going to make everything come together a little bit easier. If you want to hang these, I definitely recommend twine or some ribbon to add some additional pieces to this decor. But guys, we started out with these window clings and these wood planks from the Dollar Tree. You get 6 in a pack. I wanted to make 3 pieces. I used 2 wood planks for each decal that I decided to use in today's DIY. Love those little snowflakes, and the glittery part of the decals are really cute, but I'm going to use mineral and also some white chalk paint to mimic the background that you see on the decals here. So really, after I chose the decals that I wanted to use, I realized that 2 of these wood plank pieces from the Dollar Tree was going to be the perfect size really for all 3 of them. I make 2 in a very similar fashion, but this one here with the sleigh, it required a little bit of maneuvering, and you will see how it is exactly that I dealt with that one being a little bit larger than everything else. So what I decided to do for the Santa Claus is to put the wood planks in this position. You'll notice that on the planks themselves, this would really stand out, and I really wanted it to more blend in. So I'm going to use Waverly's mineral and then also some white chalk paint. The white chalk paint will be mixed to do the top part. The mineral really is kind of close to the coloring on the decal itself. I just brought in a pencil and sort of eyeballed where that line would continue, and that's really what I'm going for, is more of a natural progression on this piece. So I took and did this with every one of the decals that I was using for this DIY, and it's just really a matter of continuing the line that was on the decal, coming back and sort of eyeballing where I thought it might actually flow within the boards themselves. And once I have that done, now we're going to have to really take these 2 pieces and put them together so that they stay together before we move on to the next part. In order to do that, all I did was brought in some of these popsicle sticks. I cut off just a little bit of it so that it wouldn't hang over the side, and I do use 2 popsicle sticks cut in half, a total of 4 pieces, to connect the 2 planks together. Now I also repeated that same process for the decal that says Merry Christmas, but again, we have to really treat the other decal, the one with the sleigh, differently. So how I'm going to approach that or deal with that is to use popsicle sticks in a full length, and I'm creating a space in between the 2 planks. So really this is going to have more of a shiplap or palette effect, if you will. So just take some hot glue. If you're doing this exact one, you'll want to take some hot glue and go ahead and attach these in this manner, just like this. Now I did decide to go ahead and trim off a little bit of the popsicle stick. I just wanted to be sure that it wasn't going to hang over the edge. Once that's done, it's a matter of just hot gluing those into place, and then we will be able to move on. Okay, and so that's what that one piece is going to look like, just like that. So as I mentioned, I did go ahead and add some lines with a pencil. I did go ahead and do the mineral chalk paint on the bottom of these where the decals will sort of line up. I've taken some of that same paint and I'm adding in what's left of my Waverly white chalk paint, and I'm mixing it together so that I have a lighter color. Remember, I said I wanted these to really blend in with the decals, so I was really trying to create that background color. I didn't match it exactly, but I think it lends to the, you know, the patina, I guess, of these pieces. And so I just brought that lighter color above and sort of blended it in with the bottom part that I painted as well in the mineral. And I did that for all three. Now, I am pretty pleased with how these turned out. I did that lighter color up at the top and I sort of blended it in. It doesn't have to match perfectly. This is how the Merry Christmas decal is going to go on this sign. And really, at first glance, it looks like we made a pretty good match. Okay, so how I'm going to attach every decal to these wooden planks is a glue stick from the Dollar Tree and also a little bit of Mod Podge. So, of course, we'll start by removing the decal, and you'll want to apply the glue stick to the back of the decal, the part that would actually go on the window. So I always start in the very center of a decal and I work my way out to the edge, and I really take care to be sure that I do get a lot of glue on the edge itself. You can always use some Mod Podge to tack down, I guess, a decal to the wood, but I always find that I'm a little heavy-handed sometimes with my Mod Podge. So this technique is really a lifesaver for me because I get really good coverage with the glue, and then it sticks really well to the part or the piece that I'm putting it onto. And then I just really use Mod Podge as the sealer and not really the glue in this case. But you'll see here as I place down this decal here, it really did line up pretty well with the painted part in the back, and I am very pleased with how that turned out. And I did use that very same technique with the Santa Claus. I just take some of my wax paper and put it on top. That makes it really easy to smooth everything down, and it keeps glue from seeping out and getting onto my fingers and what have you. So that is what the Merry Christmas sign is going to look like, and we are going to do the Santa Claus in the very same way. Now, I did decide at the last minute to bring in some of the snowflakes that were also part of that window decal set, and I did place those onto the Santa sign as well. The next thing I did when I was finished with both the Merry Christmas and the Santa Claus sign was I brought in some Waverly white chalk paint and I offloaded my brush, and I just did some white distressing over top of the painted piece as well as the decal. So what that did was not only did it distress the wood, but it also really highlighted the glittery parts of these decals, and it really made that stand out. It took a lot of the glittery sheen, as you might call it, away, but it really highlighted those parts as well. So it just, in the end, it really was a great touch to that, and I do recommend that 100% if you're going to recreate that. The same thing with the Merry Christmas. The Merry is actually like green glitter. Their Christmas is in a red glitter, but when you take this Waverly chalk paint over these pieces and it really starts to highlight that glitter, it just really made a huge difference. One thing I will say, if you are going to do that, make sure that you go in the direction of the wood. So this one is left and right, the Santa Claus was up and down. Also, if you get a little heavy-handed, you can go back, especially if it's on the decal itself, and you can wipe it away. So, you know, just play around with it and see how much or how little distressing you think will work best for your piece. So now I'm just going to turn my attention to the sleigh piece, and these are the decals I decided to use, and you'll notice that it does span over that gap in between. If you are going to do that method, you want to do that first, set that aside, and let it completely set up before you do anything else with that one. Since I've done that, I'm bringing back my Santa Claus and also my Merry Christmas, and I'm going to go ahead now and cover those with Mod Podge because those have already set up for me and I've already done my distressing. So with this, I'm using a smaller brush and I'm going to put on as even a coat as possible. For me, I find that if you use Mod Podge that is a matte finish, you will get a better result than if you try to use one with a gloss finish. You might think that using gloss would be a good idea since these decals do have a sheen to them, but remember, I did use matte white chalk paint to distress mine. And also I find I've done this before and I have found that when I use gloss, Mod Podge on top of a decal like that, the sheens don't actually match, and the sign looks kind of strange to me. So my recommendation is to use the matte Mod Podge to seal these signs, especially if you use the chalk paint method to do any distressing on it. Okay, so those turned out really cute, but now we need to turn our attention back to the sleigh. And I'm just going to use a box cutter here to slice this down the center and remove that extra bit of the decal. And I first started in the front and then turned it over and went ahead and trimmed everything off on the back, including everything that was hanging over, because this decal was just a teeny tiny bit too big for the 2 planks of wood, but I really think that it turns out really, really cute. And so because I had to cut this, I decided that I was going to first use the Mod Podge and then go back and do the distressing, which is different than how we handled the first 2. But I did that because I really wanted to be sure that the entire sleigh was adhered to the wood. Now you'll see here I was very heavy-handed at the top of the sleigh with the distressing, and because we put the Mod Podge down and because it is on the decal, we can fix that. And how I did that was I brought in a baby wipe and I went ahead and just wiped away all that extra paint that was on there. So this project is forgiving. Don't worry, guys. It'll be okay if you're a little heavy-handed like I was. But that looks like it's going through a snowstorm, and I absolutely love it. Okay, guys, so each piece ends up getting its own embellishment. I'm going to show you what I did here with the Santa Claus, and then I will bring in some photos so that you can see how I finished the other 2. Sadly, I didn't get all of that on film, but it really was just a matter of pulling in extraneous pieces that I had left over from other DIYs and other floral bundles and things like that. This just happened to be some flocked pine that came off of a floral pick that I picked up at Dollar Tree of all places, and I just really did connect these together. I went ahead and looped some twine around my fingers and then tied it in the center, and I'm just going to use some hot glue now to attach that on top of that greenery. Guys, if you watch Kelly Barlow Creations at all, that is a version of her Kelly Barlow twine bow. Guys, I am not a bow maker, and I really did not want something that was very defined on this. I wanted it to look super random, and I really felt like the twine brought the country farmhouse feel that I really, really love. I also have these teeny tiny little pine cones from Dollar Tree that I picked up this year, and I did see these actually on the shelf just very recently, so they are still out there, these little gems. I'm taking 3 of them on the Santa sign, and I'm just hot gluing them on top of the twine. I'm gonna call it a bow. It's really just a bunch of loops, but I think it just looks really, really cute. So 3 of those are going to go onto the Santa, and then we're gonna finish that off with one of those green bells that you see off to the left. I put a green bell on every single sign that I did today, and I really do love how all of this comes together. It has a vintage feel, and yet it's a country farmhouse feel, and I think you could put these either in your Christmas tree, on the branches, you could hang them as an ornament, or you can use them in just a display decor on maybe some shelving or even a really cute coffee bar setup. These would be super, super cute, and I'm just really loving how these turned out. I'll go ahead and show you a photo now of each one so you can see the detail as these came together. And so here's Santa, and that's what he's going to look like if he's displayed by himself. The Merry Christmas done with just a little different greenery, and then the sleigh as well. Guys, look how cute these are even together. Oh my gosh, I just love how this turned out. Okay everybody, this is my Dollar Tree window cling decal Christmas decor, part of the 25 days of Christmas here in Row Country. If you liked today's video, please give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you're not already. While you're here, go ahead and watch another video, and I will catch you in my next one. Until then, bye!